It is Monday, November 4th. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by Jet Home Loans. And now, the pompatus of sports broadcasting, J.P. Shadrick.
And welcome in. It is Jaguars Happy Hour, the first hour presented by Jet Home Loans. J.P. Shadrick from the Hyundai Studios. We're on 1010XL, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube. Busy 2 hours ahead as we recap the Eagles over the Jaguars in Week 9, 28-23. Offensive inconsistency, let's say. We'll dig into that coming up. Defense showed some fight, but had key lapses in big moments in the game. We've heard that before. Keeping it real, as always, in hour number 2. We'll get to that. Fanatics fan questions. We'll go around the National Football League as well. Lots to get to with Pete and Tony. But first, let's hear from head coach Doug Peterson after the game in Philadelphia on the team battling adversity and their resiliency.
You know, a resilient group. Hats off. I mean, some guys played banged up. I mean, Brandon Scherf, my hat's off to him. He played hurt all game, you know, and Ton goes back in the game, and you know, it's that time of the year, right? I mean, guys are going to be sore, guys are going to be hurting, but my hat's off to those guys for hanging in there.
That's the head coach after the game. More from Doug Peterson today in his Monday press conference coming up a little bit later on the show. CBS Sports senior writer Pete Prisco and Hall of Fame left tackle Tony Boselli joining us now. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Now 2-7 and 3 weeks to Thanksgiving, Pete. Here we are.
Hold on. He's not starting the show. No, let's hold on.
Why am I not starting the show?
Because I said so.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does. So first of all, we'll get to 2-7. We'll get to Pete losing his mind about play calling. We'll get to Nick Sirianni maybe being the worst game management coach I've ever seen my entire life.
Must be something in the water in Philadelphia.
The only reason that we had a chance late is because he was afraid to kick chip shot field goals and extra points. Setting all that aside, because I was thinking about this last night and a lot of today, and then Doug just said it. That was a bad football game, and we were lucky to be there at the end. And it's unfortunate we couldn't take advantage of it. With that said, and I'm just going to speak on the both lines of scrimmage. That's two physical groups for the Eagles, the offense and defensive lines, physical. And we were beat up, especially on that offensive line. And I want to I got much respect for Brandon Scherf because that dude is on one leg. He has all kinds of injuries, and he was playing against one of the most violent, physical young players in the NFL, Jalen Carter. And he was matched up a lot of times one-on-one with them. And I'll say this, I think Brandon Scherf played one hell of a game. Like, I was worried because knowing Brandon was beat up, that Jalen could just ruin this. It would get tough. And I don't know how he did it because I know some of the stuff he's dealing with. And the fact that he went out there and battled the way he did, and I thought he played well, Pete.
He got beat a couple different times, but he fought though. That's what? The thing. You got to give him credit.
He got beat a couple times, but it was late. It was never like.
Never like a shoot into the gap and throw. Yeah, no. But he got off of him a couple times in plays, but he fought. He fought.
Just battled. I mean, I can't tell how much I enjoyed, and just as an offensive lineman, having played hurt, going through that, playing with good players, and to watch him battle like that, I got so much respect for Brandon Scherf. Like Pete and I, we over the years we questioned this, whatever 2-point. Maybe not too horizontal, not whatever. We tell you what, tip of the cat to Brandon Scherf, because that's a pro's pro, and that dude loves ball.
Which is why he's in the starting lineup, by the way.
And that's why he is. That was.
Is he a good above average guard? No, but he's a tough physical guy.
Yesterday
he's not. But he's not.
Yesterday he was.
But I can say that. Yesterday he was good. He hasn't been above average guard.
Go watch other guards try to block that kid.
Yeah, I know, but he hasn't been an above average guard.
And then the second thing I'll say is I am disappointed for Cooper Hodges. And we'll get into the rest of it.
He flashed a little bit.
Cooper Hodges needs to work on his pass blocking. Like the twist game still got him. He was off kilter a little bit. But that dude moves people.
Yep.
And that big old Jordan Davis, he's like, I don't care how big you are. He moved him. Like Cooper Hodges is physical. And the fact that, and I don't know if they reported how bad the knee is. It did not look good at all.
He's done for the year. He's done.
Yeah, I knew he's done for the year, but I don't know the severity of it. Like what's the impact for next year? But that's a loss because that's a good young football player. Not saying perfect, not saying great, but a guy that you could build and would have a chance to be a good starter in this league.
You know what he is a Rich Tilsky like?
Pete, I think it's a great comparison. Tough, hard-nosed, physical.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say those two things because we're going to get in, we're going to be critical as we should be. That was a pathetic offensive performance for 2.5 quarters. He had 31 yards, one first down in the first half.
The second lowest since you played.
Yep.
That Packers game.
National television. We had 18 yards and no first downs.
Yep.
But we scored 14 points in the second half, Pete, that game. So we'll get into all that. But I just, as a guy, and Doug said it, I actually been thinking about it all day. I got a lot of respect for guys who do what Brandon Sheriff does. And he wasn't the only one who was playing hurt, by the way. Brian Thomas Jr. was beat up. A number of guys.
Was he on the field? I didn't see him.
We'll get into that.
We'll get into that. That's coming up.
Trevor, we don't know what's going on, but he came out late at halftime. Everyone saw that. So who knows what's going on there. He fought through. When you're down 22-0 on the road and you're a 2-16.
I thought they were packing up.
Pretty easy to lay it down. And I've seen guys done it. I've seen guys do it before in the past. Just say, I've had enough, tap out. And they didn't do it. That says something.
I saw that last week.
That says something about the group of guys.
I saw it last week in Tennessee when they went to Detroit. They tapped out at halftime. This team didn't tap out. I'll be honest with you. I was very surprised they didn't tap out.
Now they got a big break with the Saquon Barkley fumble. But you know what? That's football.
But they had scored to get make it a decent chance that they could come back. So you got to give them credit for that. They had the pass interference penalty that helped set them up late. But the bottom line is they didn't quit. And I thought all along, I said it all week, I said they'd pack it up and go home if they got blown out early, and they didn't. I was wrong. I can sit here and say I was wrong. Now, there are a lot of other things to criticize them about. There are a lot of other things to criticize everybody about, but they didn't quit, and I think that's important.
We have an hour and 52 minutes to do that, Pete. But I think
believe me, I got a lot of it right here in the old notebook over here. You know how I jot it down from the tape. You guys love when I pull the notebook out right here.
Yeah, let's see it.
Right
let's see
there.
It
It is.
Oh, the little black book that Pete has. Wow.
Yeah.
I just think it's important to recognize when guys do stuff like it's a hard game, and that's a hard place to play, and that's a good Eagles team. Not great. Not
Decent.
great.
Decent.
Good.
All right. So now, that aside,
now let's get into the meat and potatoes.
Let's kind of lean on the defense a little bit here. We're going to get into the offense a little bit later and the issues of the first half and starting slow again, and then just the turnovers and things that go with that. But defensively, they're going up against Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, and Barkley went into the game with 32% of the scrimmage yards for the Eagles this year, the most of any player of any team in the NFL. And he comes out with 199 more scrimmage yards in the game and 2 total touchdowns and highlight plays and things to go with it. That's one thing. You knew he was probably going to get his. That's just how he plays. But this defense, guys, had lapses in big moments again. 3rd and 17 at the 19. He runs it in for a touchdown. 3rd and long pass to Devontae Smith for a touchdown. Another big play to Devontae Smith for 46 yards. So This sounds like a broken record. Big plays, big moments. This defense can't hang with them.
The 3rd and 17 draw is inexcusable.
I would agree with that. The bigger thing I have an issue with, Pete, is giving up 237 yards of rushing. Like, you're not going to win football games giving up yardage like that.
And 60 of it was the quarterback, but you're right.
I don't care.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
In like 3rd and 17.
He doesn't even get touched on that play.
Nope.
Untouched. And
I thought it was Savage's fault that it popped to the outside, by the way.
I don't know whose fault it was.
I watched the tape over and over again. He looks like he gets caught, and he needs to be on the outside to kind of rein him in. But and Aluakon got blocked. You can play that play over again. He got blocked. But watch Savage. He comes running inside. There he is. There. Yeah. So you know me. I like to point fingers, and I'll point a finger or two if I have to.
Well, I received this. I guess on average, the average NFL team this year allows opposing offenses to convert about 8% of the time on 3rd and 15 or more. The Jaguars have allowed opposing offenses to get a first down or a touchdown 39% of the time in those situations.
Ooh.
Which is the worst mark in football.
Some of that is lack of pass rush. You know that.
I think it's a lot of things, Pete. I mean, now I'm hoping this is correct. It was sent by someone I trust, so I believe that this is a correct numbers. Bottom line is this team does not get off the field enough. And, I remember sitting there watching the game, and I was like, the defense is playing pretty good. But then I think about it, looking back, if Sirianni just kicks extra points, it's 24-0.
What was he doing? What is he doing?
If he takes the 2 field goals, I think it's 30-0.
Well, you're up 6 late in the game. Take a field goal to go up 9.
Well, there's another. Little things. My point is, the offense was so bad, and yes, the defense did some good things. I thought Hines Allen played good.
I agree.
I thought Trayvon was physical in the run, tough matchup in the pass. Lane Johnson's the best tackle in football, probably.
Second best. Penei Sewell.
Okay,
they're together.
They're both pretty dang good. I thought Tyson Campbell played pretty well.
I thought Hamilton had a couple plays in the interior.
I thought Hamilton had a couple nice plays.
And he was really good on those 2-point plays on the push plays. He blew those up.
I'm talking about he knifed in and made a play in the run game behind the line of scrimmage. He got off a couple blocks and came down the line and was in on a couple run plays. So he did a couple things. It wasn't like I'm saying he's dominating the game.
Right. Yeah, I get it. But stopping the tush push twice. But if you look at the whole body of work, he gave up 28 points and 237 yards of rushing offense, and it could have been a lot worse if you were playing any other coach besides Nick Sirianni. And so, I don't think the defense was the issue. The big issue in this game is that we continue to start. It's the 3rd straight game that we have started down 10-0.
Yes.
Our offense is so inept at the beginning of the games.
That goes to the script.
I'm going to say something that I can't believe I'm going to say.
Oh, boy.
This should be good.
Pete Prisco might be right. Maybe they should just start the game in 2 minutes and just go.
Wow.
Because
can we clip that and save that?
Because the only time this offense has got anything going when they're desperate and there's desperation.
All right. We've got to leave that hanging. We'll come back and dig into this offensive issue.
I love that. That's the best I've ever heard of this show coming out of his mouth.
We've got to dig into this when we come back because we want the full answer from Tony, that's for sure. PRI Productions, the Southeast full-service event company, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com and learn more. We're on 1010XL AM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube, and off and running. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans.
need to define a great deal in today's new home market, because the so-called great deals that you find on every corner just aren't the same as the incredible opportunities you'll find with a new Dreamfinder's home. How about 2.99% in year one in one of Dreamfinder's 15 communities across North Florida? Now that's a great deal. 2.99% interest rate in year one and a beautiful new Dreamfinder's home. Visit DFHSalesEvent.com for our largest savings of the year on move-in ready homes. That's DFHSalesEvent.com.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium, because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more, or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
You love free, and at Ameris Bank, so do we. That's why we're proud to offer worry-free, hassle-free Ameris Bank free checking. Manage your money your way with convenient access to digital, mobile, and telephone banking, all with no monthly service fee or minimum balance requirements. At Ameris Bank, we're with you. For more information or to open an account, visit our local bankers in person or online at amerisbank.com/free checking. Other fees such as overdraft fees may apply. Ameris Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Are you ready to love how you feel, look, and live in every season? At Elace, we offer more than just luxury med spa treatments. We provide a serene, judgment-free space where you can reconnect with the best version of you. Whether you want to refresh your natural look with Botox or Dysport, pamper yourself with a relaxing hydrofacial, or rejuvenate your complexion with laser resurfacing, our expert team in Jacksonville is here to tailor treatments to your needs. Visit Elace.com today and start your journey to loving yourself.
We kept fighting. We're resilient, and it's tough, you know, when you find a way to get back in the game and you have an opportunity and it finishes that way. But I mean, I really am super proud to be a part of that group, and got a lot of fight, and we just gotta find a way to finish these games. You know, we've had so many one-score games that haven't gone our way because of some plays down the stretch, and it's tough.
There you have it, the quarterback Trevor Lawrence, full press conference on Jaguars.com. And if you want customized Jaguars furniture for your home, check out ZipChair.com and browse all customizable options. ZipChair, furniture for fans. J.P. Shadrick, Tony Boselli, Pete Prisco, Jaguars Happy Hour, presented by Jet Home Loans. And join Tony and the Boselli Foundation Sunday before the Vikings game for Tailgate with Tony. 10 to 12:30 at Metro Park. Food, drinks, games, and live entertainment by the band Be Easy. Tickets at BoselliFoundation.com, or hit the QR code on the screen if you're watching on Jaguars YouTube. That'll be fun, Tony, coming up this Sunday.
Yeah, it'll be good. Appreciate all the support, and go buy tickets and come join us. We'll have some alumni out there. I'll be out there before I go on the radio, and good food, good music, and for a great cause, supporting teachers here in Duval County and mentoring young men in the community. So it's all the money will go towards that. So hopefully we'll have a big crowd. Looking forward to it.
Are Viking fans invited too?
Absolutely. Everybody's for charity. Everyone's invited, Pete.
And Tony will only charge them $500 an autograph if you're wearing a Vikings jersey. That's it.
No, that's his normal going rate.
Oh, that's
whoa. Pete, it's not fake news.
Love that. Hey, let's get into this offense now. We just heard from the quarterback there, but the slow starts. 31 yards in the first half. 1 first down, which was the opening drive of the game, by the way. And to your point, hey, Tony, you brought this up before the break. You think they should go quicker tempo earlier in the game. But Doug Peterson talked about that today. It's like, well, that's great, but you better get some yards on first down or you're going to go tempo on 2nd and 13. Like, what? There's a balance there.
Well, what's the difference between tempo and 2nd and 13 and 2nd and 9?
I don't know. You're hustling up there. I don't know.
That was coming. JP, I actually agree with Doug. And me saying what I said was showing my desperation of like, they need to figure something out. And that's why I said maybe Pete's right. Maybe like open it up and go. I mean, at this point, what do you have to lose? You're 2 and 7.
Well, and here's the other thing, Tony. So they spent last week game planning and, let's see, in a key situation on the goal line, we're going to throw an ISO to our running back out of the backfield who happens to be our third team back, who doesn't even run through the play. So they came up with, but they can't come up with something to move the ball in the first half. I mean, what are we doing here?
Well, let's save that last play because I didn't love the play call either, but it is what it is.
All I'm saying is if that's their answer to that play call, they put it in last week, then clearly they're thinking about trying things and doing things. Well, try something in the first half. It isn't working in the first half, so why not play faster and loose and attack and put somebody on their heels early in the game?
But Pete, I think they are trying something in the first half. It's not working. They couldn't run it an inch.
Well, okay, then clearly you got to do something to try and get it going. Tony, if what you're doing isn't working and you continue to do it, that's insanity.
Pete, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying I'm not trying to ride the fence here. I agree with you and I agree with Doug. Because if you go out there and play fast, you're going to be out there for 30 seconds and the defense, who, by the way, isn't exactly the 85 Bears, is going to be on the field even more than they already are.
So getting 31 yards in the first half the way you did it is okay?
No, it's not. That's what I'm saying.
You got to change it. You got to change it.
This kind of thing
always goes back to the coach who's scared of his own shadow sometimes. And I'm not just talking about Doug. I'm talking about around the league. If you go in with the attitude that if you play fast, you're going to be in 2nd and 13, then you're going with the attitude that you can't complete a pass on the first down play. That's the attitude you're going in with. Well, that's a failure right there. Then you failed. Your whole attitude going into that means you failed. So that's what I'm saying. When you hear that, play that. Do we have that clip?
I don't think we have that. We do not have it.
It might make me throw up on my shoes, okay? Because it's an awful way to go into a situation. You don't agree with me on that, Tony? If he's going in saying, well, we could be in 2nd and 13, then you're automatically assuming you fail on the first down play.
No, but I think what he's saying is they've started slow, and this is why, Pete, I'm trying to agree with you, and you're being a real pain in my ass, just to be clear.
You're not agreeing with me. You know what you're doing right now? You're doing a Tony Boselli classic fence straddling right now.
I am not.
Wow.
Yes, you are.
JP, I said, Pete, let me be crystal clear. I think they should come out fast this week. I think there's all kinds of risks around it because this team has been inept on offense to start games. They've gone backwards. They can't get an inch. They can't run it. They can't complete a pass. They drop
what's the
passes.
risk?
That's my point. Why I agree with you. You're 2 and 7.
But you might as well try. You said it was a risk. Where's the risk?
Pete, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, I think you're on the same page, guys.
No, he agrees with me, but then he always has to put but I understand what Doug was saying.
I do because here's the risk of being a coach doing that. Next thing you know, instead of your offense being on the field for 10 minutes of the first half, they're on the field for 5 minutes of the first half.
That's right.
Well, it's okay to be on the field for 5 minutes of the first half if you hit a play for 80 yards and a touchdown, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but not if your defense, who's already struggling.
Tony, it's like the whole stuff that people were talking about at the end of the game. Well, maybe they should have run and used some more clock if they score there. Go score your points. You go score your points and put it back on them. It's the same type of.
I'm with you. I get that's how you normally act. But I was sitting in the booth. I didn't say it on the air, but I was thinking, I'm like, maybe they should run it here.
Time on the clock.
Timeout, like burn some clock, because if we score with a minute 30 left, I'm pretty confident that they are going to go score, because that's just the history of this team this year.
But you can't go in with that. You know that. You got to think the best plays you're going to score touchdown. Now, the play call we can question, but you got to go score points there. It's the same attitude. It's like, Tony, and this one always gets me. When a team's backed up at like their 10-yard line, the entire offense changes the way they call the game than if you were at the midfield. Why? Why?
You want to, because a turnover there means more than a turnover on the other 20.
But that means you're coaching with the whole mentality that you're going to turn the ball over. Yes, it does.
Pete, you know what it's called? Now, this is where you're being dumb and hard-headed. You know what it's called? Situational football, Pete. That's what it's called.
Why is it situational football? Because it's always been played that way?
No, because it's the right way to think, because a turnover is points there. If you turn it over and across the field, it's not guaranteed.
I'm not turning it over. I'm going to get a touchdown. Okay, if you're at the 1-yard line, I could understand it, but you're at the 10 or 12-yard line. You don't call the game differently than you do if you're at the midfield. It's stupid.
I mean,
they've always done it. They've always done it.
I think you're being ridiculous there.
No, I'm not.
What's the minimum yard line, Pete, that you start running the offense for real?
If you coach scared, you're
it's
never.
It's not coaching scared, Pete. That's called coaching smart.
Okay. Based on what? Based on the fact what you're saying is you're basing it on the fact that you're going to have a negative.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, and I'm not saying I wouldn't. I would throw it back up. I think sometimes the best time to take a shot is when you're on your 2-yard line, because you know you're going to get man outside. Take a shot.
So what's the rationale for not playing your normal offense in that scenario? What's the rationale for that? You're afraid of what? Turning it over. So it's a negative thinking.
No,
or I would say this, hey, you got to know your personnel too. If you have some weaknesses up front, you don't want a holding call or in the end zone, safety, all that stuff could be in play too, Pete.
First of all, it's like, listen, if I'm backed up, I'm not going to call straight drop back passing probably. I'm going to run the ball or I'm going to play action pass it so I can slow the rush down, give my chance, I might max protect more when I'm backed up to make sure I can take a shot, or I make sure I don't take a sack. So,
okay, but if you're at the 10-yard line and you go, and I'll say they did this, but other teams do it all the time. You go run, go make a play on 3rd down, it's incomplete. You're punting from your end zone anyways. They're giving them points anyway. So what's the difference?
I didn't say that.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying across the league. And so coaching scared in the whole mentality of 2nd and 13 in the hurry up is coaching scared. When you talk that way, you're putting negative thoughts into the entire idea of going. Not you. I'm talking about the coaches who do that.
I just think you're being a little bit. I guess the best description is ridiculous, saying that you don't think about where you are on the field when you're designing formation.
We've gone to a different. That's a whole different argument. The argument about going fast and playing fast, and I didn't hear Doug's quote, so I don't know the context of it. But if he said if you go fast and you're in 2nd and 13, then your whole mentality about doing it is negative. Would you not agree with that?
I don't know. I guess I think about it a little bit differently, Pete, from the standpoint of you have to First of all, one of my struggles with our team right now is what's our identity? What's our offensive identity?
Well, there isn't one, so try and create one.
So that's my point. So I get, I think a good philosophy and a good offensive identity could be, I'm not saying this is the only one, is that we're going to be a run-heavy, play-action-pass team. That's basically what the Eagles are right now. Run-heavy, play-action-pass. Their last 4 games, they have thrown the ball. They've won 4 straight. They've thrown it. They've run it much more than they throw it.
Well, the quarterback can run too. That's a different.
I'm not saying that. Okay, Detroit is a run-heavy, play-action pass team, and they're
with a great offensive line.
That's my point. So that you play the game, and you're okay playing the game where you can grind it out, shorten the game, take your shots.
If you can run it consistently.
Will you let me finish? So that's one philosophy. You also can say, hey, we're going to be a fast break, full speed, throw it around the yard. We know we're going to put the off defense on the field a bit more, but we're going to go score. We're going to outscore people. Okay, great. Like the Dolphins last year. That's how they played. That's what they did. And there's like nuances in between. The problem is with the Jaguars is like, I'm not sure what we are. So I don't think we can be a grinded out team, especially against a physical team like the Eagles. We played in Detroit in 2 weeks. Like, I don't think we're physical enough to grind it out with them. Okay.
You could grind it out against the Vikings because they're not big.
Probably against the Vikings you could.
Right.
But I don't think that's in our core who we are. It's okay. Well, now, are we a spread it out, throw it around the field, and speed it up and take shots? And I'm not sure we are. That's my problem.
Okay. Let me use the Buffalo Bills as an example.
Okay. What's
their identity?
Josh Allen. They're quarterback centric. Everything's built around him, and they're gonna. But they've
that's what the Jacksonville identity should be.
Is Trevor ready for that?
There are moments when you watch him and you say, hell yeah, he's ready for that. There are moments when you put him in obvious passing situations when you say, no, he's not ready for that.
Aren't they paying him to be ready to be that?
Okay,
yes, exactly.
Timeout. Wrong answer. Just because you pay a guy doesn't mean he's the guy.
I still go back to the best times he looks on the football field is when he's playing unburdened. Let him go. The Chargers game. There's other games where he's.
Pete, how much of that are like when you know this when defenses get big leads, they also play a little. Hey, let's just keep everything in front of you. So it's a little bit.
Yeah. But at some point in that whole thing, they get to the point where they say, hey, they're within 14. We got to go back to playing a normal style of defense, too. And he still came back. So
it's always hard for defenses to revert back.
I just think if you continue to do what you're doing and not building it around him and letting him go, what's the worst thing that happens? You find out that he's not the guy?
Right now, I would agree with you. Listen, and maybe it's part of my own biasy. Like, I just fundamentally the way you play and build a team is inside out. You're physical. You run the ball. You play action pass. You take shots. Like, that's how. Like, that's it. So
look, I'm big with that, Tony. If it's
what I'm saying is, like, you probably have much more. You might be more clear thinking on this because, like, you don't really care. Like, you like that up style, that spread it out, throw it around the yard type.
Well, not too crazy because I like physical. I think you throw to score, you run to win. That's what I really believe. I've always believed that. And I'm going to go to the Chargers because when the Chargers, when Harbaugh took over, we sat here and we were going to say, build the offensive line. He did. He got physical on the offensive line. You know what they've done the last 3 games? They've had Herbert average over 300 yards throwing the football because he's taken it and he's evolved it and he's made it better. And that's why they build. You know, you can't just go away from a quarterback with a big arm who can rip it around. And I think Jacksonville does at times. That's all I'm saying. I think they do. Now, they don't have neither do the Chargers, by the way, have a great group of wide receivers. So they're good enough. You can move it around. And Strange played 8-9 plays yesterday. Guy looks like
what happened there? Was there anything about why Strange played too little? I got to ask about that because I thought Strange was so good.
He looked like a pass catcher last week.
Yeah, he did. We've got plenty ahead. I think, Tony, the word you were looking for earlier when you were trying to describe Pete was obtuse. You said ridiculous. Obtuse, I think, is what you were.
I'm stubborn because I think if you keep doing the same things over and over again, it's just stupidity. Try something different.
Let's come back. We'll take a look at the defense again because that'll cheer everybody up. Sign up your furry friend for the Jaguars official 4-legged fan club for pets presented by Forever Vets Animal Hospital. Your pet will receive access to exclusive merchandise, events, and sweepstakes throughout the season. Visit Jaguars.com/promotions/4-legged fan club and sign up today. We are on one today. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game. and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We are here for them, and we are here for you. Ranked #1 physical rehabilitation hospital in Florida by U.S. News and World Report, our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with EverBank. Open an EverBank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. EverBank, advantage you. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey Jags fans, stop dreaming of creating your game day fan cave and build the Jaguars den of your dreams with ZipChair. When it comes to maximum comfort, ZipChair.com is the only place for officially licensed Jaguars recliners, sofas, bar stools, office and gaming chairs, all featuring high quality embroidered Jags logos. Crack open a few cold ones in the comfort of a Zip Chair and make your home the place to be on game day. Head over to ZipChair.com and save 20% today. Use code JagsRadio at checkout. ZipChair.com, furniture for fans.
Jacksonville builders score big with DL Cabinetry. As the official cabinet supplier of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they offer top quality kitchen and bathroom cabinetry for any project. Enjoy fast turnaround, complimentary design, and great prices. Visit dlcabinetry.com today to learn more and to become a dealer. Limited spots available. DL Cabinetry, the winning choice for builders.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey ham, melted cheddar and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
We could have made more plays for sure. You know, you get put out there, third down, third and longs. We have more plays to make, you know, and we show fight to keep ourselves in the game. We made plays, we can make more plays. Like whatever is called upon us, our job is to do our job. So make the plays that come to us and keep fighting this way. We'll start seeing ourselves win games.
Linebacker Foye looking in the locker room after the game and looking for the MVP of the truck game. Better check out the 2024 Ford F-150, loaded with impressive capability and game-changing tech. You can dominate, work, play, and everything in between. Test drive an F-150 at your local Ford dealer, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Easy for me to say. It's Jaguars Happy Hour, presented by Jet Home Loans. We're at the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center. J.P. Shadrick, Pete Prisco, Tony Boselli, 1010XL AM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. The Jaguars have made a roster move this afternoon, about 38 minutes ago, right at 4 o'clock officially came down that the Jaguars have released safety Tashawn Gibson from the exempt commissioner's permission list. He is no longer on the team. He's a free agent, not subject to waivers as a veteran. And they have also placed Cooper Hodges on the reserve injured list. So the Gibson thing just didn't work out, and that leads us into the secondary conversation because he won't be a part of it apparently moving ahead.
I wonder if he didn't ask to let me go. I mean, why would you keep him that whole time and then he's getting ready to come off the exempt list and then your safeties are playing really bad football and you let him and you release him?
Huh? Because now you have to pay him.
So if you're giving up on does that mean you're giving up on the season, or he didn't want to be here, or you don't think he's better than what you have? I mean, there's got to be.
It could be any of those people. But my guess is they don't think he's better than what they have.
I mean, it's hard to be worse than some of the guys that they've had. I'll be honest with you. I mean, that safety position's been a big problem all year long.
It has.
It hasn't been good. And there were moments yesterday where again. That hit again, right, Pete?
What's that? Oh yeah. Well, I mean, on the touchdown, the big play to Devontae Smith. What in the hell was Andre Sisco doing? He got spun around, and now Darby's trailing. But if you watch Sisco, he thinks he's going to the corner. He put a move on him. He's standing there like not the touchdown, not the other play, the big.
Yeah, the 46-yarder. I know.
Deep over.
Yeah.
It's just like the Dolphins play where Tyreek scored on, right?
Yeah,
it's a deep over.
Yeah, and they've had problems with that all year long, and it continues to be an issue. Look, the safeties haven't been played well. There's no sugarcoating it. Even on when they brought in Johnson on the one, he was playing on the run. I think Hurts got out the side. He got blocked. Remember, he's at the line of scrimmage, and he came up and he got blasted by the running back, and he missed him, and he got through there and went. I mean, the safeties all year have been a problem. They're not good. Savage had his issues. I think he was responsible for the long run on third down. I think he made a play on one pass. He also got beat on that touchdown by Saquon Barkley. So the safety play has been an issue all across all year long, and it's going to continue to be that way. Now, Wingard is coming back, right, at some point?
His window opened a couple weeks ago. He hasn't been ready yet.
Just think about this, though, for a second, particularly on this show. And I thought he played well last year when he was in there. But before that, I used to criticize Wingard as well. I didn't think he was that good. And here you are clamoring to have Andrew Wingard back in the lineup.
Well,
think about that.
What's really surprising to me about Sisco, Pete, and I'm not saying he's playing the worst of the safeties. I agree our safeties have underperformed this year. He's in a contract year.
Yeah, well, he's costing himself some money. And here's the other thing, Tony. If you look at it on paper, you have a guy you went out and paid in free agency. You have a draft pick asset in Sisco. What round was he taken in again?
It's third, wasn't it?
Third,
yeah. Antonio Johnson was later on pick, but
I thought he was a fourth for some reason.
So you look at this group, but there's stuff and assets and money put into it, and you're talking about being excited about having Wingard back.
Yeah, Sisco was a third-round pick in 2021. Antonio Johnson, a fifth-round pick in 2023.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what I'm saying, though. There just isn't bang for the buck at that position, which is why you keep having the problems with it. And again, sometimes I think over the years, and it's not just this team, teams are guilty of just replacing guys for the sake of replacing guys. Go get Darnell Savage. He'll bring that veteran leadership to that group. Really? I mean, seriously. And he hasn't been awful, don't get me wrong, but has he brought anything that when you sit there and you go, wow, 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 what a great decision. Then you look at some of the other, by the way, some of the other safeties who were signed around the league, who are like on second contracts going somewhere else. Elijah Molden, he's played well for the Chargers, came from Tennessee. Julian Love played decent football for Seattle, came from the Giants. Elliott has played well for the Steelers. Brandon Jones has played well for the Broncos. These are all guys that were given up on by other teams, and so that's my. And in fairness to the safeties, the pass rush hasn't been great at times. I get it, but they haven't played well. They haven't tackled well. They haven't covered well. They haven't done a lot of anything well.
Well, it made me think of something, Pete. So last year, when this team went 1-6 down the stretch, a lot of injuries, but remember the conversation we had going into the offseason? What did we say they needed? They needed to improve the offensive line, improve D-line, get Josh Hines Allen signed, and then clean up all the busts on the back half. Remember, we had a lot of busts last year.
Yes. Okay.
And the question is, what do we do at the other corner? Because we didn't know what they do with Darius. So if you think about set aside the draft, but the free agents we brought in, have the free agents made an impact this year? Like Mitch Morris, okay.
Yeah.
We're better.
He's better. He's better at center. You're better at center. Are you great at center? No. Are you better at center? Absolutely.
Absolutely. He's okay, good sign. Now, I want to talk about the offensive line a little bit. I thought about this with the Cooper Hodges injury and the trade of Cam last week that happened after our show. So So
but keep going with the free agents.
Yeah,
So-
let's go with Morse, right? Morse
So
is
the
good.
free agents we signed were Savage,
Not any better than what they
Darby,
had.
Ronald Darby.
Clearly not better than what they had. They had Darius Williams. Darius Williams is better than Darby.
Eric Armstead, which this week in the I believe JP at the defensive coordinators,
he admitted it.
They confirmed what we had thought.
Yeah.
That he was promised to play defensive end when he signed.
It's just mystifying to me. You take a 3 technique and he wants to play defensive end, and you go, okay, we'll sign you and we'll let you play backup defensive end.
I don't understand that for the life of me. And when the only time I've seen him be productive is when he's inside, and he had a couple nice rushes this week. Okay, are you better?
No, you would say no. You're not better at that spot.
You'd have been better off going to give Calais Campbell a 1-year deal.
Because he's get in there and do the dirty work.
Yep. Gabe Davis.
Gabe Davis. Are we better with Gabe Davis?
No, he runs like he's in concrete. No, you're not better than that.
Devin Duvernay.
Duvernay, are we better?
No, you had a punt returner on your roster.
So I guess
that one, by the way, I'm gonna dig deeper into that one. That was an overthinking of it. That's exactly. We're gonna be smarter than everybody else, and we're gonna be ahead of the game on these kickoff returns. We're gonna have 2, and instead everybody just kicks the damn ball out of the back of the end zone. So you wasted your money.
But I get, and we spent, and none of these guys were cheap guys. Some more expensive than others, but I think that's what the frustrating thing at being 2-7. High hopes, injuries last year, narrative that it was just injuries and didn't have our guys, bad finish. We're going to add some key free agents. And here we go. And we just haven't seen the impact with the guys that the free agents that we signed.
That's a lot of times how it works in free agency, right? We've had some special free agents around here over the years. Yes, mind you.
JP, I know we're up against it, but it leads me to the next thought I had today thinking about this team and some of the injuries. We are now going into next year with what I deem is the most important position group on the entire team of any team in the NFL after quarterback, offensive line. Going in next year, and I'm breaking my rule about we're not going to talk draft free agents or anything, but just looking at because the injury, we're 2-7. You have no left tackle under contract for next year. I guess you get to see what Walker Little is.
Yeah.
For the next.
But he's a pending free agent, is your point, right?
But he's a free agent, and guess what? Usually you have to overpay for free agents when they get to that thing. Okay. So we have no left tackle. Our one young, good offensive lineman that we're trying to develop, just who knows how bad his knee is.
Right.
You have a center and right guard. Are they going into their 11th years next year or 12th years?
They're 11. Old guys.
11.
So they're going to go in their 11th years last year. This is and I said
would it shock you to see either one of them or both of them just say I'm done? Because there was always the talk that in Buffalo that the Bills thought that Morse was coming to the end by his own choosing at some point.
Well, and this is back-to-back years. The sheriff is beat up.
Right. How much can he take it? How much can he take?
He's tough as nails, but how much does he have left in the tank?
Right.
And then you got a right tackle who hasn't lived up to his draft expectations.
Yeah, I would say this. You had a right tackle that, in my opinion, has not taken the jump that I thought he would from year 1 to year 2.
Correct.
I still think he's a
Should he be the left tackle?
He's an above average pass blocker.
Should he be the left tackle, Tony?
I don't know. He's got to improve his run blocking.
Right, but I'm saying moving forward, not now, next year, can you go in the season and say, hey, you know what? Maybe he can be our left tackle.
Yeah, I think so. Then you got to go find a right tackle.
That's what he played in college, was left tackle.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a left tackle, Pete. But then you got to go find a
right tackle.
Right tackle.
It goes back. You don't want to talk about the draft, but it goes back to the draft. It's bigger. That's
Guys,
what the draft is.
We're up against it.
The point is we've spent a lot of money and stuff. And like one of our key positions is really going into next year between injuries and age and free agency. It's like, boy, we got a lot of work to do.
All right, we'll dig into that work a little more when we come back. The Jags face the Vikings this Sunday for the Jags Salute to Service game. See the shell white alternate helmets in action for the first time as we honor the military all game long. Lock in your tickets at jaguars.com/tickets. Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans.
We need to define a great deal in today's new home market because the so-called great deals that you find on every corner just aren't the same as the incredible opportunities you'll find with a new Dreamfinders home. How about 2.99% in year one in one of Dreamfinders' 15 communities across North Florida? Now that's a great deal. 2.99% interest rate in year one and a beautiful new Dreamfinders home. Visit dfhsalesevent.com for our largest savings of the year on move-in ready homes. That's dfhsalesevent.com.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's not about how you start the job. It's about finishing what you start. The Ford F-150 truck can help. Get the freedom to choose between available gas, Power Boost Hybrid, or all-electric powertrains, all delivering the power, capability, and efficiency needed to get the job done right. Just another reason why Ford F-Series is the best-selling truck in America 47 straight years. Ford F-150, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Imagine beautiful new windows and doors that elevate your space and keep you comfortable year-round. At Renewal by Andersen, we specialize in custom-built, energy-efficient windows and doors that are crafted to last. Right now, for a limited time, save 20% off your entire project. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free in-home consultation today. Restrictions apply. License number CGC 1527613.
Ranked as the nation's best public university by the Wall Street Journal, the University of Florida is on a mission to transform education. UF continues to help grow the economy through research breakthroughs and leadership in AI. And with its nationally recognized career services, UF students and graduates have never been better prepared to make a difference in the world. To learn more about how the University of Florida fuels bold ideas that make an impact around the globe, visit fromflorida.ufl.edu.
Welcome back, J.P. Shadrick, Pete Prisco, Tony Boselli, Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans on 1010XL AM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube, a few minutes away from the second hour of the program. We'll get to Fanatics fan questions. We'll keep it real because we haven't already. And we'll go around the league. Yes, Tony, yes, a few minutes.
We can't finish this first hour, just in case people got to leave, without talking about what everyone has been talking about. Not everyone, but a lot of people on Twitter. I know Pete's been, hitting us up on it, as well as I've heard it from other people, is the play that ended the game yesterday, the play call. And we haven't talked about that situation. And just to set it up for everybody and remind everybody, we're down 5 and we get the ball after basically we get the ball almost from midfield because of the missed long field goal. Pass interference, bottom line is we're moving down the field. And 1st and 15 with 1:37 left. I mean, first and 10 on the 15 with 1:37 left. And we call a wheel route. Now, Pete, I was watching. There wasn't much open on the other side, but I think
there wasn't really anything open.
I think that's where Trevor was going the whole time, though.
Yeah, that's the first read. Doug even said that.
Yeah. And
he might have had Washington inside if he waited a second, but it would have been a tight throw.
He was going to get sacked. Walker Little had a soft edge. And people have asked me why is Durant Johnson our third running back in the game at the end, and we're going to call an isolation route to him against the linebacker. A couple things there. One, he might be the third running back, but he's the number one third down back when it comes to protection. He's the best back at protecting, picking up
which is why he's in on those plays.
That's why he's in on those situations. Two, he's the second best receiving back we have. He's better catching the ball than Tank Bigsby at this point of his career, in my opinion. So, and three, it's actually a matchup a lot of coaches are trying to get, Pete, is you're running back one-on-one down the field against a linebacker. Now, what happened? Well, one, Nakobe Dean was playing over the top the whole time.
He never threatened them with anything like an angle route or anything like that. He never felt sometimes you get out of the backfield like that and you can threaten them with he never threatened them.
Right.
So, Tony, you mean he was playing off the line a good bit, like way back. Okay.
Yeah. He ran the route for him.
Got it.
And by the way, Durant should have kept running.
So, okay, hold on, Pete. But so I just want to make sure everyone understands that is not, like I've heard people say that's a terrible call, it's stupid, blah, 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 blah. Okay. First of all, Pete, correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of coordinators are trying to get one-on-one with the back against the linebacker.
Yeah, let's get more into this on the other side because I see JP putting his finger up and telling you to hurry the hell up.
But the bottom line is,
we got to wrap it up. Second hour coming up. We got plenty of time for this when we come back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We are here for them, and we are here for you. Ranked #1 physical rehabilitation hospital in Florida by U.S. News and World Report, our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
It's not about how you start the job. It's about finishing what you start. The Ford F-150 truck can help. Get the freedom to choose between available gas, Power Boost Hybrid, or all-electric powertrains, all delivering the power, capability, and efficiency needed to get the job done right. Just another reason why Ford F-Series is the best-selling truck in America 47 straight years. Ford F-150, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The kick is up. It's good! Score winning sub deals this Jaguars season at Firehouse Subs. Receive 50% off on any sub when the Jaguars kick a field goal of 40 yards or more. It's a bold deal for the bold city. Download the Firehouse Subs app for offer details. Redeemable only at participating Jacksonville and Orlando area restaurants. Only available in the Firehouse Subs app. Looking for the perfect place to host a business trip, corporate group, or social gathering? Look no further than the award-winning Sheraton Jacksonville Hotel, proudly part of the Marriott family of hotels. Centrally located next to the St. John's Town Center off Gate Parkway in JTB, they offer everything you need, whether you're hosting a meeting or just unwinding with friends at the BC Grill and Patio. Discover comfort and convenience like never before. Search Sheraton Jacksonville or call 904-564-4772 today.
Are you ready to love how you feel, look, and live in every season? At Elace, we offer more than just luxury med spa treatments. We provide a serene, judgment-free space where you can reconnect with the best version of you. Whether you want to refresh your natural look with Botox or Dysport, pamper yourself with a relaxing hydrofacial, or rejuvenate your complexion with laser resurfacing, our expert team in Jacksonville is here to tailor treatments to your needs. Visit Elace.com today and start your journey to loving yourself.
You play mental gymnastics all day, and as a coach, you can't. On a Monday, you can talk to your football team about situational football and situational awareness, and say, okay, we can't do that. We can't do that as a football team, right? In those situations, and as coaches, you go, we could have done this, we could have done that, we should have done this, we should have done that. And that's the part that beats you up all the time. The longer you're in this business, the longer you coach it, the longer you play it. I think every coach goes through it. Every player's going to go through it.
Head coach Doug Peterson today. Welcome back. It's hour number 2 of Jaguars Happy Hour, presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings. Before the game, after the game, and during the game. Doug Peterson discussing second guessing that happens on Monday in the building. We're on 1010XL AM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. J.P. Shadrick, Tony Boselli, Pete Prisco. The Jaguars got in a 22-0 hole and then rallied to get close. They had the ball in their hands, down 5 inside 2 minutes. The third giveaway of the day ended it. We'll have more on that play as Tony was wrapping up the first hour coming up in just a moment. The offense struggled through the first half, though. Slow start again. 31 yards, 1 first down in the entire first half. Trevor Lawrence's worst rating game since his rookie year under Urban Meyer. Jags defense fought again, but they had key lapses that killed them. 7 plays of 20 or more yards for the Eagles, plus a couple of third and long touchdowns for Philly. The Jags now 2-7, their 5th loss by 5 or less points this season. And now plenty of questions moving ahead about what this team's going to be the rest of the year. Up next, the Vikings come to town. Then it's up to Motown to face the Detroit Lions. So that's what's going on in the next 2 weeks for the Jags before the bye week. All right, guys, let's wrap up this thought about the interception play at the end that we had to cut off the first hour because it's the huge topic of the day, certainly.
So, it really is.
So the reset. So, Pete, tell me where you disagree. Good matchup. Getting your running back matchup with the linebacker favorable to the offense typically, correct? Like every coordinator is trying to do that at some point. I mean, it's not a bad concept. Let me put it that way.
Well, on first down, okay, yes, I get it. I get what you're saying. I like backs out of the backfield in one-on-one situations with a linebacker.
Okay, I do too. Second, Ernest Johnson's in there because in a 2-minute situation, he's your best pass blocking and blitz pickup and aware running back, and he's better than Tank at catching the ball in the backfield and a better.
It's not better than ETN catching the ball in the backfield.
No, but he's better than at blocking and all that kind of stuff. Blitz pickup, okay, which is protection first in 2 minutes. So that's good. And I've also heard, and some people say, well, maybe they should have run it more clock, and that's an argument. But at the same time, I think Pete would say, like, you got to go score and then go get stops. Like, you don't try to Mickey Mouse around and try to score with no time left. Like, you score, let your defense go play.
But let me real quick, by the way, if ETN's running that route or if Bigsby's running the route, they're not open either the way he played it.
So, yes. And so the other thing is, this is by design Trevor's first read. Now, my issue is him throwing the ball because Dean is over the top the entire time. And so he's now asking to throw a 50-50 ball to a guy who is not a 50-50 receiver. And
was there not a receiver on that side of the field, by the way? There wasn't. What? No. I'm saying to start the play.
Oh, I don't remember. I have to go back.
Because usually when you run that play a lot of time, you try and get him. I can't remember either. You try and get him in traffic where he's got to get through something to cover him.
Let's see if we can take a look. Yeah, there was a receiver. Yep.
Yeah,
but the linebacker already had jumped out because you had motioned him out, which also brings in the question.
But backer, he went over the top of the slant.
Watch when he motions.
Yeah, I get that.
He widens.
Yep.
So if you don't motion him and you run that play, he has to go through trash a little bit rather than being able to go over the top of it. The design of the play to me was a problem to begin with, because I think once they start motioning him out, he knows. Okay, if he had it. Okay, here's the other part of that. Did he have a two-way go on that route? That if he did jump over the tap, that he comes underneath it. It didn't look that way, right?
It looked like it. So here's my problem with the play. I don't love. Because when you call that play, you know it's Dearness Johnson. Unless he's been repping it in practice and he's been doing a great job in practice, I don't love it. Like in the biggest moments, I want to try to go to Evan Ingram or Brian Thomas Jr., like my topper guys. But okay, set that aside. The two other issues I have is I know it's his first read, but looking at it with the linebacker over the top.
You got to throw that into the crowd.
You either throw that into a back shoulder where only Dearness can catch it, or
into the crowd.
Throw it into the first row of the crowd.
Right.
One of the two. The second issue I have is if you're Dearness Johnson, you got to run.
Yeah, he stopped.
You got to run through it. And the only thing that can happen is Nakobe Dean catching the ball. I don't care if you have to beat the, you know what out of him, tackle him, whatever. The game's over otherwise. And so I didn't understand, and I understand it was his first read, but I'd love to ask, maybe I'll call Brunell tonight and ask him as a quarterback. But if you see the guy over the top, he's still throwing it. I know if it's a receiver and the guy's over the top, you're throwing the back shoulder.
Well, didn't Brunell throw one of those in the rain? That's what he threw. The guy was over the top on him when he threw it in the rain.
It was a naked, though. It's different.
Yeah, but it was the same. He was over the top on it, though.
He might have flashbacks and get upset.
Yeah, you're right. He's going to get angry at you. But no, okay. The design of the play, I had fault with the design of the play because once they motioned him out, the linebacker was widened and therefore could get the depth on it and wasn't threatened by anything inside because there was no one. The receiver couldn't cause any trash once they widened him out. That's all I'm saying. If they kept him in the backfield and ran that same play, you might have had a better chance of getting him open because of the trash that might have caused in front of him, A, and B, would have had a harder time getting over the top on it. You agree?
Maybe. I'm not as – I don't know if I'm as angry about the design of the play as you are.
Would there have been?
I'm nitpicking the design. That's just my personal preference on it.
All right, that read wasn't there. Were there any other reads after that he could have thrown to on the other side?
Well, Tony's right. He was going to get hit.
Okay.
He was going to get sacked.
Okay.
Walker Little, just whiffed basically on his guy. Otherwise, if he had a little bit of time and he doesn't like it, which is hard to do, by the way, because the whole idea is you got that guy one-on-one, you're throwing it there.
Yep.
It's hard to come back to the middle, but if you look at that play I think he has Washington on a slant if he wants to go there. No?
The linebacker's sitting underneath it.
Yeah, he is? Yeah. You can't get it over the top of his head there?
I'm looking at it right now.
No? Okay, then he has nothing.
He could have checked it down to Ingram for like a 3 or 4 yard gain.
But he would have gotten hit before any of that happened. But the bottom line is there were a couple things to nitpick about the play. Would I have run it with Dearness Johnson? No, but when you got a guy who's in there as your third down passing back, then clearly that signals to them that you're running it too. I mean, you're throwing it too, Tony, doesn't it?
No, they can run it. I'd have been fine with the run play here.
No, but I'm saying usually if he's in there for pass protection, you're signaling to the defense that it's probably a pass because you would have your.
But they'll run it out of that.
Yeah, but I don't know. Would I run that play? Hell no. Do I think that there's a better way to run the play if you're going to run it? Yes.
I guess here's my problem, Pete. I've heard everything from friends who text me to looking at X, think that and talking to people I respect, like, that's a fireable offense. How do you call that play in that situation? I'm like, I don't know, because like it's not the wrong matchup as far as like back against linebacker.
He's pretty good in coverage, Nakobe Dean, though.
I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying he's not. And I can see Pete's point. If you look at the play again, if they do it out of the backfield, could maybe you rub and create some traffic for Nakobe Dean? Possibly, but he probably just going to go over the top more.
You might hit him.
Might fall down. Yeah, you never know. Yeah. So that's a fair point. But
so what you're saying is I need to be their offensive coordinator.
No, I'm not saying that. Nothing on their side that he should have gone to. It's one-on-one. And I guess my point is two things. And maybe you don't do this with a running back. I'm not a coordinator. But throw it to the back shoulder. Throw it in a place where only he can make a great play. And if not, it's 2nd down and 10.
And then you could criticize Johnson for all you want, but he's not used to running that route, that kind of route like that. Yeah, they probably practiced it, and the linebacker probably got caught up in the trash, and because they probably didn't practice it that way. I didn't like motioning him out. That bothered me because it set the message that you're going to be in a one-on-one situation. Unless, and I don't know this, and you don't know this, is there an option to that route where he can break it off and cut inside of that guy? It doesn't look like it.
It doesn't, because Parker's running in there. I mean, let me tell you my true thought at the moment. I was less worried about the play call as far as the design. I was more in the mindset of I would have run the ball there. I would have forced Philly to burn a timeout there. Because they were in a weak box. You had a man for a man. I mean, you could run zone. You could zone read it up the back side, and you'd have basically a man for man, 5 for 5. And I would try to go get 4 or 5 with D'Ernest. So 2nd and 5, force Sirianni to use a timeout. And now I'm 2nd and 5 from the 10.
No, Sirianni, you would let the clock tick off.
Well, then that's fine. Then I
know. I agree. I would have had no problem with a run in that scenario.
So,
but if you think you're scoring on that play, you have to run that play.
Yeah, but he didn't have to score on that play. It was first and 10 from the 15.
I get it, Tony, but it goes back to my theory on the whole thing. You can't worry about the clock when you got to get the touchdown.
Yeah, I actually think you can, Pete, when it's 1st and 10 with a minute 42, and like it's a do or die. Because if you don't get in, you lose the game because you have no timeouts left. So you can play this to the end. I'm not saying like take knees or run it right up the middle, but like running.
Yeah, I would have had a problem with the run play, but I would not have had a problem with the run play there. I can't argue that.
My biggest criticism of Press and Doug is not the wheel route, not whether he should motion or not. None of that. Like getting one-on-one with the backer, okay. I think the route could have been run better. I think the ball could have been like, maybe back shoulder because he's over the top. Maybe if you don't do that, have the guy run through. It's probably a contested ball. Maybe he doesn't intercept it. My biggest issue was, why not run the ball there? Why not force them to get on their heels a little bit? Force them to use timeout.
There's no reason that Trevor should have thrown that ball where he threw it, though. Zero. Nothing. There's nothing that says that guy's even close to being open. It's going to be a throw. So he should not have. He should have thrown it into the crowd, or short-armed it into the dirt or something. There's no way he throws that up.
Don't understand when he sees that, what makes him say, I'm going to throw this. That's what I don't understand.
Okay, and that's not the worst play call that they had in the day, by the way.
What was the worst play?
What was that?
The 4th down play.
Oh, the 4th and 1. Ooh.
That was a check by Trevor.
Well, he checked it a bad play because he checked to – I know what they're trying to do. You're supposed to get a rub on – he's supposed to pick him and let him get outside. I didn't like the call at all.
First of all, let me tell you what – I think it was a check because if you watch the play, Pete, the whole offensive line's running sneak.
I mean, if he checked to that, he shouldn't have.
Okay.
But, in part, he, you know what? The play before he was a sneak too, and he didn't get anything. So maybe that had something to do with it, right? Wasn't it 3rd and 1, and he didn't get anything on the sneak?
It went from 3rd and 1 to 3rd and half of
it's
one.
Like a football, yeah.
I would have run the sneak again.
I would have run the sneak again.
Me too.
I would not have thrown the ball no matter what.
Should they have just punted it?
I wouldn't even have that check in.
No, and it almost, that's why I don't know if maybe they make it look like a sneak because Evan is so ready to catch it and do something with it. And usually, I don't know. I think, and who was the receiver that was running? Was it Parker Washington supposed to kind of pick Cooper DeJean, I think, and that's what he's supposed to do, and he didn't. And he made a good play on it. I mean, he made a really good play on it, but I didn't like the call at all. I would have snuck it again.
Been our Achilles heel for 2 years now. 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, short yard. Should they have just punted it?
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, that's the traditional
that's the other
conservative way.
Punt, like I always say, punting is okay, guys. People in this league need to learn that it's okay to punt the football.
Sometimes.
I understood why they didn't, Pete, because of the situation they were in, and they needed to get something going. That defense had been out there. It was going sideways for them.
Yeah, but that's okay if you're on the flip side of the 40. They were on their own. What were they at, the 39-yard line?
39, their own 39.
Come on, Tony. Don't defend that call. It's a terrible call. Because you just put him in point-blank range.
And they're lucky that Sirianni decided to go for it.
It's better to be to get that defense on the 20 and the other 20 than on the point-blank range on the 39.
Okay, we didn't give up any points because Sirianni went for it himself.
He did.
Yeah, he's a moron, too.
He went for it on 4th and 2 instead of kicking a field goal going up 3 scores.
It was 4th and 3 officially, of all things.
Yeah, what are they doing? What are these guys doing? I mean, my gosh.
Sirianni's going to coach himself out of a job if he keeps doing that kind of stuff. It's going to cost him some games.
But you know what he's done? He's done the old, look, I'm going to change my appearance so people talk about it and don't talk about how bad a coach I am. Eberflus did it. He's doing it. It's amazing these guys do.
Well, here's the thing about going for it on 4th and inches or happy yard, whatever it was, on your own 39. Even if you get it, it's not like you're all put yourself in field goal range, or you like you still got to get three or four first downs to go get a field goal.
Right. That's what I mean. It's not in point-blank range. If you're in point-blank range on the 39 and you go for it, okay, that's different. You're going to get one first down, and you definitely got it. Or maybe don't even need a first down and you kick a field goal. What do you got? There's no end game there. That makes no sense. I bet you after those play calls that the Eagle fans went over and put roses on Doug's statue.
Jeez. Oh, man. Let's come back in a moment. If that's not keeping it real, I don't know what is. But we got to do that when we come back. Election day is tomorrow, and we all need to show up big for our country. Be sure you're prepared to cast your vote by making a voting game plan. For more resources and information, visit NFL.com/votes. 43 minutes to go. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
You love free. And at Ameris Bank, so do we. That's why we're proud to offer worry-free, hassle-free Ameris Bank free checking. Manage your money your way with convenient access to digital, mobile, and telephone banking, all with no monthly service fee or minimum balance requirements. At Ameris Bank, we're with you. For more information or to open an account, visit our local bankers in person or online at amerisbank.com/free checking. Other fees such as overdraft fees may apply. Ameris Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium, because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We are here for them, and we are here for you. Ranked #1 physical rehabilitation hospital in Florida by U.S. News and World Report, our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jacksonville builders score big with DL Cabinetry. As the official cabinet supplier of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they offer top quality kitchen and bathroom cabinetry for any project. Enjoy fast turnaround, complimentary design, and great prices. Visit dlcabinetry.com today to learn more and to become a dealer. Limited spots available. DL Cabinetry, the winning choice for builders.
We were with the time left, we had talked about it on the sideline to kind of slow the pace there at the end. You know, and it's just something you got to try to do, right? You can try to, if you can, you stay in bounds, you stay in bounds, or if it's incomplete, you play another down, whatever it is. But still, the bottom line is, too, we still needed to score, and you know, felt good too with the way our defense had played. They would give us a shot.
Head coach Doug Peterson after the game yesterday on the final interception strategy behind it. And welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. J.P. Shadrick, Tony Boselli, Pete Prisco after a Jaguars loss in Philadelphia to the Eagles. 28-23, the final. Time now for Keeping It Real, presented by Nobody. And we'll go back to the offense here overall. We've talked about slow starts. We've talked about key moments where there are interceptions. How do you fix it this year? Is it fixable this season? Or is this something that is a bigger picture problem for the long term?
Is it fixable this year? I think a certain degree of it's fixable. So if you play cleaner, catch the balls that are thrown to you, no pre-snap penalties, just do the basics right. So I think there'll be some improvement.
Target Brian Thomas more than 4 times a game.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Pete.
Yep.
But you're beat up. You're probably you're out with the guy who would have been your number 1 target coming into the season, Christian Kirk. So he's out. You got a rookie who's beat up, but heck of a player. Your big free agent missed the game, or when this week. Yep. So when does he get back? Yep. And you have a really beat up offensive line, and so I'm not sure how much you can fix it. I think you can fix it around the edges and just by playing cleaner and not beating yourself. Trying to start a little faster, but I think there's probably limits because of injuries and maybe, and sometimes you also, and I'm not saying this is the time to do it, and I'm not saying this is the case either, by the way, but maybe sometimes you overestimate your talent level too. You got to reevaluate.
No, that is the case. You won't say it, I will. That is the case. I'm guilty of it as anybody, so I can't sit here and criticize anybody else for saying it because I'm as guilty as anybody. I thought the talent was better, and it's not.
Where do you think they're lacking talent, Pete?
Well, you can start with the offensive line. That's a problem. It's been a problem. It's been a problem for a long time. But look, it's not a problem that's only in their grouping because it's around the league. It's a problem, but it's a big problem in Jacksonville. I think it's a problem on the defensive interior. I think those guys they try. They're good players. They're not. I mean, they're backups. That's what those guys are. You would like to have Hamilton and that group led better as backups. You don't want them starting. You need a monster in there. You need somebody that's going to tear people up in both the pass game and the run game. They don't have that. That's a weakness. The linebackers in coverage, and they weren't awful yesterday, but for the most part this season, the coverage has been terrible for the linebacking group. And then the safety. So I've always been a big believer in you build from the edges the way the game is played, but they're so bad up the middle right now that that's a problem. And so when that's a problem, it kind of filters out to the edges. And the fact that you have two really good edge players. Those are good edge players. They're not, look, they're not put their hands on the ground and go blow by you and win every consistently like a Von Miller in his heyday. But they're both good, physical, tough edge players. They don't get any help from the inside. And that's why, like Hines Allen's sack numbers are down. You go back and watch the tape, he's having a good year. And so I think that contributes to it all. So I think when we do talk about the talent, I thought Hamilton would go back to what he was before his injury. He hadn't done that. I thought Armstead would play on the inside and be what he was with the 49ers at times in his career. He hasn't done that. I thought Lloyd would take the next step this year. He hasn't done that. Then you go to the middle of the field. The safeties, we talked about them. They've been a total F. I mean, that's an F. From where we thought Cisco would be in a contract year to what they paid Savage to come in and play, to Antonio Johnson, who flashed at times as a rookie and regressed, that's an F. So you add it all up and you compound the problem by having Darby playing in man coverage, which he doesn't do very well, and you didn't have Campbell for all those games. That's why your defense has been bad. It's easy to see. It's not hard. And then the offensive line is the problem on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
That's a long list, but okay.
You and I talked about this. So I used to go back to last year thinking about the team, how we finished at 9-8, and so disappointing. And we talked about where we thought they needed to get better, and before we signed off for the year. And I think we talked about this in camp. And I remember looking back over what we did in free agency and the draft. And my big question, as we were sitting around, I think it was me, maybe Logs was here, J.P., whoever, is this team any better than it was last year? And my answer at the time is I didn't think so. I didn't see anything that they did that made them better. Like, I didn't see anything they added on defense compared to the losses they had on defense with the additions. I didn't see them better, especially when I had heard, we had all heard at the time, which was confirmed by Ryan Nielsen this week, that Armstead was going to be a defensive end.
But in training camp, you didn't think he was going to be a defensive end. You thought he was going to be a defense. He wasn't around in training camp. Remember,
he wasn't practicing, yeah.
Right, but you thought he was going to be a defensive tackle.
I thought someone told us that that was part of them signing him. I thought
I think that came later, but
okay.
But when we were sitting there thinking they'd be better up the middle because you thought he'd be Eric Armstead from the 49ers.
I was worried about it though. He's a 10-year vet,
and he's hurt,
coming off injuries. I was always worried about it because of age is undefeated unless you're Tom Brady. And so I didn't know where we had improved across the board based on the losses and then the free agent side. Okay. Then you move to the offensive side, and I didn't know what we had done better. Now, granted, I didn't think Brian Thomas Jr. was going to be what he is when we drafted him.
And see, I did.
I did not.
I did not. So he's a good player. I thought the only thing we had done to improve ourselves was adding Mitch Morris, which I was also worried about, not because of Mitch Morris as the player, just because he's a 10-year vet. And how much gas does he have in the tank? And so I came in this season thinking, I'm hoping, we talked about it the first show, Trevor's got to have a big year. He's got to jump. Because I didn't think Gabe Davis was better than what's his number 0 last year? Zay Jones. He doesn't run better than Zay Jones.
He wasn't better than Zay Jones, and I didn't think Brian Thomas Jr. as a rookie would be better than Ridley. Well,
he is.
He is. I was wrong about that.
Clearly.
But I didn't think Gabe would be better than Zay Jones. And I thought Zay Jones probably a better blocker. But we did, and so I didn't see us being 2-7. But we talked about it, Pete. how much better would we be? Because I thought we had a pretty good. I didn't know the NFC North was going to be the gauntlet. But I thought we'd be, somewhere between 8, 9, and 11, and 6. I mean, we'd be we talked about it, that we would be fighting for the playoffs. We'd have a chance to go to the playoffs and win the division in December.
And we were wrong about that.
Wrong. I was wrong.
Hey, but here's the other thing, Tony. Who's got better?
But Pete, my whole point is, if you go back, this team also finished 1-6 last year.
Right.
And what we just went through, I'm the fool because I didn't think we got much better.
Well, who as a player has gotten better? Who is a player that they brought in?
I'll give you 2 guys. Tank Bigsby's better this year.
Okay, so he's technically your backup running back. So, okay, that's good. You have a nice backup running back to go with.
Brenton Strange is better.
9 snaps.
I'm telling you, you asked me who got better.
Well, he's such a threat that they had 9 snaps on Sunday.
Brenton
So
Strange.
there's something wrong there.
Is Trayvon Walker better?
Ventrell Miller's much better.
Yes, he is.
Well, he didn't play. He was hurt last year too.
That's why he's better.
Okay, but again,
also because I didn't see this happening. I think Brandon Scherf's playing better this year than he did last year. But you don't usually see that of a 10-year guy. Is my point.
But and then we can flip it to this thing. You see, you caught a touchdown pass last night for the Vikings, right?
Josh Oliver.
Okay, so Josh Oliver was known when he came to Jacksonville as a blocker, right? Wasn't he a pretty darn good blocker at times early in his career? That's what they thought he would be.
That's what they thought.
I tried to block these things out.
Well, but I'm just saying we can go through this whole thing. Same with Quincy Williams. You got rid of those guys. They were on your roster. They're contributors for teams, other teams where now you had to go draft to replace them. Why? Just for the sake of replacing them? What's the reason?
I don't know. But this goes back to keeping it real. What do you need to get better? Well, we are now, if you look, we were 8-3 last year.
Yep.
Which seems like 1,000 years ago.
Was that an accident? That's the question you got to ask.
Well, we can remember how we won. We were playing pretty good, really good complementary football, and we were getting tons of turnovers. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And go back. Who were the teams they beat in that run too? I think if we go looking back at some of the teams they beat in that run, we go, oh,
they beat the Bills.
Yeah, and but that was one of those ones where they went to London. Remember, they had no idea how to handle that. That was part of that, and they lost about 6 guys in that game.
All right, early last year they beat the Colts, they beat the Falcons, they beat the Bills, both in London. They beat the Colts again. They beat the Saints. They beat the Steelers.
I mean. Okay,
but here's my point, Pete. We were 8-3. Regardless, we were 8-3. Since then, we have gone 3-13. So when you ask me, what are you going to do to get better? It's not just 2-7. Yes, we've added a couple draft picks. Yes, we've added a couple free agents. But on offense, it's 8 of the same 11 guys you had last year.
It's true. But nobody's gotten better, including the quarterback. And I think I'll be honest with you, I think the quarterback's being held back by this team. I really do. I think they're ruining him. I'll say it. If you get an offensive guy in here like Ben Johnson or somebody like that, I guarantee he's a significantly better player.
Pete, I fundamentally disagree with you on that comment.
Why?
Because this is what, in my opinion, if you think firing a coach is going to fix everything, you are.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
That's what you just
not
said.
what I'm saying.
Okay, Pete, you can't replace a guy without firing a guy. So you're saying, I disagree with you 1,000%. If you think somehow Ben Johnson coming in here is going to be a magic pill and flip the switch and all of a sudden you're going to be good, I disagree with that.
Okay, so then you don't think the quarterback – you can have it one or two ways. Either they've taken the quarterback and not made him grow, or he's not very good. It's one or two. It's one or the other. It can't be. It has to be.
Oh.
Why? He's not as good as he was a year ago, I don't think. Do you?
I think when
he was healthy last year, he's as good now as he was then?
At times, about the same. Go look at
so he hasn't gotten better in this year.
Look at his numbers; it's about the same.
So he hasn't gotten better. So is this who he is, or have they made him this? It's got to be one or the other.
Maybe we don't know yet. Maybe there's not enough sample size.
Play the different style.
Now, like I'll go back to yesterday. The throw to Washington. You saw Washington. He's got to go. He's got to get depth on that. That should be a completion. He's got to get complete, but he also kind of bent it off. He's got to be completion. That's going to be a 40-yard completion. You saw it happened a couple other times where guys didn't run the right. They stopped. They kind of there's no connection, and it's tough. Guys going in and out. I get it, but I just think that.
Pete, I'm not. Listen, we can have a debate about the quarterback.
Talent is there. The kid has talent. I'm sorry, he has more talent than when he gets.
I'm not saying he doesn't, but you are nuts. You are absolutely crazy if you think firing one coach is going to fix everything.
It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I think they're holding him back.
You just said if you bring Ben Johnson in his offense, they're going to win. You're nuts.
I didn't say they're going to win. They're going to make him better.
You're crazy.
They're going to make him. Well, then he can't get better then?
No.
So it doesn't matter.
You have to look at the whole thing, Pete. This is what the problem what organizations do. They say, it's this magic pill. Let's take that one.
That's not what I'm saying.
That's what you just said.
No, I'm saying a guy like Ben Johnson or somebody with an offensive mind like that who comes in and doesn't run this offense. This offense is stagnant. It's predictable.
Remember last year, Pete? Everyone said we just got to fire the defense coordinator, get a new defense coordinator, everything will be better.
Well, I mean,
remember that?
Yeah. Well, they fired one bad one and got another bad one.
I'm not here to judge whether one's bad or good. That's not my point in this argument. My point is the mistake. I think too many people make is like, just get rid of that guy, and it's you got to look at it.
I didn't say one thing about getting rid of anybody. All I'm saying, if they had a guy that was,
you can't bring somebody else.
They haven't made him better. He's not better. So it's one of two things: either they haven't made him better, or he's not any good. It can't be both.
That is Keeping It Real, presented by Nobody. And we're back with Fanatics fan questions. We'll get a few in when we come back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour, presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game. Hey Jags fans, stop dreaming of creating your game day fan cave and build the Jaguars den of your dreams with ZipChair. When it comes to maximum comfort, ZipChair.com is the only place for officially licensed Jaguars recliners, sofas, bar stools, office and gaming chairs, all featuring high quality embroidered Jags logos. Crack open a few cold ones in the comfort of a Zip Chair and make your home the place to be on game day. Head over to ZipChair.com and save 20% today. Use code JagsRadio at checkout. ZipChair.com, furniture for fans.
Want to be up close and personal with the Jaguars as they take the field? Here's your chance to be in the shadows, outside the Jaguars locker room, now called The Vault. Enter today at everbank.com/shadows. One winner and a guest for every home game at Everbank Stadium. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents in 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry periods for the Shadow Sweepstakes promotion from 8/19/24 to 12/15/24. For official rules and complete details, visit everbank.com/shadows. Sponsored administrator, Everbank N.A. member FDIC.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips. Delicious sub-platters with ice-cold beverages. And you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Imagine beautiful new windows and doors that elevate your space and keep you comfortable year-round. At Renewal by Andersen, we specialize in custom-built, energy-efficient windows and doors that are crafted to last. Right now, for a limited time, save 20% off your entire project. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free in-home consultation today. Restrictions apply. License number CGC 1527613.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. Second hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings. They had chicken wraps, traditional fried chicken wings, and pretzel bites tonight for our production staff.
Outstanding, JP. Outstanding. I got to jump in real quick.
Yeah,
we ended it real quickly. So I know we're getting to the fans, and you got to read your read. My point, Pete, was the mistake is, because I'm not advocating for firing anyone in that building, and that's not my job. That's one man's job over there. It's not mine. My point is, you got to look at the whole thing. Like, how about the fact that Trevor Lawrence's receivers have had dropped the ball more than any other receiving group that any other quarterback's dealt with since he's been here?
Absolutely. Number one in the league.
Number one in the league.
Okay.
So if you cut those in half and they were in the middle of the league, would his numbers be different?
I think he's a good player. I just think there's more to him.
I know, but you're blaming everything on the play call.
I think there's more to him.
But you're missing the point, Pete. I think there's more to it. I think you got to look at everything.
Okay, but if guys are dropping passes, what is that? Is that coaching?
Focus, wrong guys. I don't know.
Yeah, personnel.
If guys are jumping off sides, and when you get down in the red zone,
is that the? I'm not there every day.
Ultimately, the coach is responsible for that. I'm not saying firing everybody. I'm just saying I think they're holding Trevor back. That's me.
I disagree with you from the standpoint until you are understanding and looking at everything. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's coaching. I'm not in the building. I hear things, but I'm not in the building. I don't know. Look at everything.
If I can ask you a legitimate question of how many guys have gotten better, and you can come up with a handful, that begs that the coaching is a problem.
I just gave you guys who got better.
You gave me 3 in the whole team.
Josh Allen. He's gotten better.
He's better. He's better than he was a year ago.
Pretty dang physical. He's more physical. They asked him to gain weight. So
he did.
Is that on the defensive coordinator for asking him to gain weight? I don't know.
Maybe. So there you go. It goes back to the coaching. Look, I'm not saying sitting here wholesale changes are going to fix it because they have a roster problem as well. But I think when it relates to the quarterback.
But that's my point. You got to look at the whole thing. And I'm
looking at the whole thing. And as it relates to the quarterback, I think he's being held back.
But why is he held back? Is it the play calling? Is it the roster? Is it the coaching?
Let him go free for a little while, and then if it holds him back, then I was wrong. Okay, I'll tell you that right now.
Is it the culture? Is it him?
And by the way, this is not the week to do that.
I don't know. My point is, I get really frustrated when everyone's like, "Oh, it's just bring Ben Johnson. It'll fix everything." What?
Well, first off, we don't know if Ben Johnson can handle a room. We don't know that.
That's my point, Pete. You're the one who said it.
Well, I think Ben Johnson's a bright star in the coaching profession. I do.
Listen, I think Ben Johnson is one of the better offensive coordinators in football right now. And I think he has the numbers that prove it. I think he's in the right place with a great head coach. They built it the right way. They have a strong offensive line. They have an identity. They know who they are. They have 2 good backs. They don't ask their quarterback to do a lot. It's play, action, pass. It's all good. But it's built in a manner to fit the way that they want to play, and they call plays based on their personnel and what they got, and it's designed that way. They pick players that way. Like, I'll give you a perfect example, Pete. You and I both said it. When they picked Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round.
Jahmyr,
thank you, Alabama kid. When they picked Jahmyr Gibbs, I guarantee you, both of us, we weren't together, both rolled our eyes going, oh, back in the first round. You don't do that. Well, you know what? They got a strong offensive line. They got 2 really good backs. They have an okay receiving core. They have a nice tight end. They have a quarterback that got thrown out of a city. But you know what? They play to their identity. They run it. They're physical. They play action pass, high percentage, and they take shots at times. But they pick guys based on who they are.
Yeah, but when Jamison Williams is on the field, they have a guy who can stretch the field. They have a tight end who can catch the ball, and they have a guy who can work the intermediate routes and safe route. It's based on the running game. I get it.
And what did they go do? They invested in the offensive line. They invested in backs.
Well, they drafted. They also.
And guess what? Now what's Jared Goff talk? They're talking about Jared Goff, MVP candidate.
Well, they invested in the offensive line. They drafted Penei Sewell high in the first round. They already had Decker. They already had Decker. They already had Ragnow. So they went
and got Zeitler, free agent.
Right. Well, Jacksonville could have got Zeitler for the same ham sandwich that they got for him.
Pete, you're missing my point. You can't just look at one thing. They made a decision. This is who we are. This is how we're going to play, and we're going to build it that way.
Right. So what's the decision in Jacksonville? How do you play it in Jacksonville? What you just said before, there's no identity. There's no identity.
First of all, you have to establish what you want to be.
Well, that goes to the coaching part of it, doesn't it?
I think it goes to the whole front office, coaching, GM, all of them together. You got to be on the same page. And I'm not, by the way, I don't want anyone tweeting me or saying anything, reading into it. I'm saying they're not. I'm just saying the results aren't very good. That's all I'm saying. And my response in my tirade here is to Pete, who said,
they haven't made them better.
Bring Ben Johnson in.
Well, they haven't made them better. Bring somebody in to make them better. Make them better. They haven't made it better. They have the #1 overall pick in the draft, and they've rendered him into something that he isn't, which is average. And that's the problem.
His receivers lead the league in drops since he joined the NFL, Pete.
Yeah, you got to look at the whole thing.
Well, you should have got rid of Keenan. I mean, I got an answer for all of them.
He's coming in next week, by the way, with Minnesota.
Pete, I know you agree with me what I'm saying, because you can't just I get so tired of it, because guess what? This is what everyone does. Oh, let's go get the hot coordinator. And Ben Johnson is dang good coordinator, but he's also in a great situation with a organization that's aligned.
Right. I'm going to go to another thing. Jaden Daniels steps into Washington with Cliff Kingsbury, and their offensive line is a hodgepodge of veterans they signed, because a lot of them are questionable line going in. McLaurin's a good player. The running back's a good player, not any better than what Jacksonville has. And yet they go in there because Kingsbury makes it easy on the quarterback. The system a quarterback's really good, don't get me wrong, but he made it easy on him.
Pretty good, Pete. You know what else he does? He's in the building like at 4:30 every morning studying and Oculus and all this crap. I mean.
No, I love the kid. Don't get me wrong. I thought he was the best quarterback in the draft class. But again, a coaching system, the whole thing can make the quarterback better.
It's everything around it. It's the whole organization. It's who you are, what your identity is.
Is Trevor better now than he was a year ago? Yes or no?
I can't say. I don't think so.
Well, then there's a problem. I mean, either he's not good, which I don't believe, or they're holding him back, and I'm a big believer in that.
All right, guys, let's come back. We've got to take this time out. We'll come back with a Fanatics fan question or two, maybe, if we have time. We got to get around the league. We're going to speed around the league. No scenic route today. It's been a show. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
We need to define a great deal in today's new home market, because the so-called great deals that you find on every corner just aren't the same as the incredible opportunities you'll find with a new Dream Finders home. How about 2.99% in year one in one of Dreamfinder's 15 communities across North Florida? Now that's a great deal. 2.99% interest rate in year one and a beautiful new Dreamfinders home. Visit dfhsalesevent.com for our largest savings of the year on move-in ready homes. That's dfhsalesevent.com.
Looking for the perfect place to host a business trip, corporate group, or social gathering? Look no further than the award-winning Sheraton Jacksonville Hotel, proudly part of the Marriott family of hotels. Centrally located next to the St. John's Town Center off Gate Parkway in JTB, they offer everything you need, whether you're hosting a meeting or just unwinding with friends at the BC Grill and Patio. Discover comfort and convenience like never before. Search Sheraton Jacksonville or call 904-564-4772 today.
It's not about how you start the job. It's about finishing what you start. The Ford F-150 truck can help. Get the freedom to choose between available gas, PowerBoost Hybrid, or all-electric powertrains, all delivering the power, capability, and efficiency needed to get the job done right. Just another reason why Ford F-Series is the best-selling truck in America 47 straight years. Ford F-150, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey Jags fans, Extreme isn't always about heat, it's about flavor. And 505 knows flavor. So wake up those sleepy taste buds with 505's new lineup of premium craft salsa. Powered by the bud-kicking boldness of fire-roasted Hatch Valley chilies, 505 sauces are more than enough to bulk up any simple spread. Ignite your sense of boldness with 505's all-new assortment of fiercely fiery flavors featuring 505's new black bean and corn craft salsa. And of course, 505's award-winning flagship flavor, Southwestern style.
Ranked as the nation's best public university by the Wall Street Journal, the University of Florida is on a mission to transform education. UF continues to help grow the economy through research breakthroughs and leadership in AI. And with its nationally recognized career services, UF students and graduates have never been better prepared to make a difference in the world. To learn more about how the University of Florida fuels bold ideas that make an impact around the globe, visit fromflorida.ufl.edu.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. And for 11 years, Dreamfinders Homes has been proud to call themselves the official home builder of the Jaguars. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for all the available inventory and go Jags. Let's sneak in a couple of Fanatics fan questions. Jaguars fans, gear up at Fanatics.com with all the latest Jags styles. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything. We put the cat signal out. Plenty of submissions today. We only have time for 2. This is at WillDo44. Why do you think Strange played so few snaps this week? Would have expected him to get targets with us so thin at wide receiver. Not everybody at once. Uh-oh, we don't have Tony. Go ahead, Pete.
Tony, go ahead. I thought it.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
Yeah, I was on mute. I was shocked.
That wouldn't be bad if you were on that the whole show, by the way, sometimes.
Jeez, what a day.
That hurts me. I was shocked by that because I thought their best, if I was saying, okay, who's the best group on the field for them? It would be Brian Thomas Jr., but now he was beat up all week, so who knows how much practice he could get in. And he's a rookie, so you got to be careful if he's not practicing. Parker Washington, Strange, and Evan Ingram with either Etienne or I'm a big Bigsby fan, but he was beat up too. So, but either one of those, any of the backs. Like, I thought that was your best personnel grouping that would put them in a little bit of a bind of how they matched up with Ingram, because now they have to decide, do they go base personnel to stop the run, because you can run it out of 12, or do they go to nickel to match up with Ingram? I thought we'd see a lot of that, and we did not.
Well, I mean, Trammell played how many snaps? He played like 35, and I think Strange played 9.
I don't.
And this is nothing against Trammell, because he actually he ran some good routes. You know that? He did. He ran some good routes. While we're on Trammell, why in the hell was he returning punts? Can I get that? Can I get that? Because Washington was playing receiver? So what? So what?
And Trammell ended up playing just about as much receiver as he did.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you talk about a mistake. That's a mistake.
I disagreed with that decision. Now,
it's not his first time returning punts, by the way. I mean, he played in L.A.
To be clear, he's a great he catches the ball very well.
Yeah.
And so they were
very well too. And he dropped it very well too.
No, he didn't drop. He caught it and then started running, got hit. First of all, he should have fair caught that ball.
Like he dropped it. Dropping it is when you fumble it. He fumbled it.
No, a drop, if you don't catch it clean. He caught it clean and started running.
Okay, but why would you not have Washington back there?
I would have.
Particularly after he had one for a touchdown a couple weeks ago.
I would have, Pete. You're missing my point.
Okay, well, what's the point? What's their point? What would be that point?
They didn't want to, because Parker was starting, they didn't want to have him return punts too. But if I'm not mistaken, on the first play, wasn't Trammell out there on the field on the first play of the game?
I think he was.
I might have been, yeah. So
one of you put the other starting receiver off. You got him off the street and put him over there, off the practice squad, put him over there. It makes there's no reasoning behind that. No justifying it. I'm sorry, there's no justifying it.
I'm not trying to.
No, not you. I'm not talking about you.
Unless they saw something in the practice field we didn't see. I don't know. Let's get one more question in, then we got to go around the league. At Jacob Reinhardt 2, are slow starts being caused by poor execution by the players or a poor script by the play caller? Or both?
I'm always gonna
play for it. You always blame the players.
I give the players the credit, and I'm gonna give them the blame. I think it's the Jimmies and Joes, not the X's and O's.
Well, how about if I give him a 10-play script for this week and see if it works?
I would love that. I would love it. The problem is, I would have a hard time rooting against my Jaguars, but I want you to fail so I can do that.
I know you would.
You want to take some criticism next week? That would be a way to do it.
I know one of those plays I put Brian Thomas on a post corner route and hit him for about 40.
Okay. Listen, Pete, you like to claim that you could be an offensive coordinator.
No, I couldn't. I could not be. I'll be honest with you. I could not be. I would never pretend to say that I could be, but I know, just like I could never direct a movie, but I know what looks good on the big screen, and I know ways to make it better.
I could get your run game for you, but that's about it. I can get your protection and run game, but when it comes to routes and coverages.
But just like little things, I wouldn't. The design of that play that they ran for Dearness Johnson, I would have had it run a different way, just for the exact reasons I explained. That's all I'm saying.
All right, Fanatics fan questions are in. We're done. We got to touch around the league. We got like 3 minutes left to go around the NFL.
We can go fast because you got to do your Monday night chorus.
Yeah,
too.
so you got 2 minutes basically. So what stands out, Pete, about around the league yesterday? What's the number one thing that of all these games stood out to you the most?
Well, I think the Cowboys are toast. I mean, it's sad, but because you look at the Cowboys, you think that they were going to make a little push to win that division. They're done. They're finished. The Ravens exposed the Broncos a little bit on Sunday. The Ravens are dynamic on offense. By the way, Todd Monken doing a hell of a job calling plays in Baltimore. He's really adapted to what they do, and I think Lamar Jackson's adapted to what he does. It's really working. So that's a couple things. Joe Flacco starting, did it work out? No, he did nothing. He did nothing. Anthony Richardson has not been good, but you make that move, you got to get more than 3 points out of it. So that's just a couple of the things going on around the league.
Tony?
I was watching the Jags, so I didn't see much.
I mean, I can go around more. I can give.
I watched. So I stayed in Philly last night. I didn't go back with the team because I had a meeting I had to go to Chicago this morning. I did watch the entire Sunday night game, as tired as I was. I did not see that being a defensive battle. I mean, the Colts defense, give them credit. They scored 7 and they played good. They played tough.
But here's the other thing about that. Joe Flacco had problems with a lot of those coverages, those dropping out and everything. If he having problems with those, and Jacksonville doesn't dictate tempo in that game, which is what I think they should do, and they get in 3rd and long, that's going to be a problem next week.
Well, it's not just 3rd and long, 2nd and long. If
you're
in a problem. Long, they do a lot of exotic stuff.
Yep.
Monday Night Football, Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 4-4 head to Arrowhead to face Patrick Mahomes and the final undefeated team in the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs at 7-0. Inclement weather in the forecast in Kansas City. Who you got tonight?
Not going to be close. No
Godwin, no Evans.
No Mike Evans. Tough weather, really good really good Chiefs defense. I see this as a 10-plus point victory for the Chiefs.
I agree, and I think getting Hopkins, he might not help every team, he's going to help that team because he knows how to sit down in zones and help Kelsey get open. So run defense, tops in the league. They're going to shut down the Bucs run game. It's going to be ugly.
I feel bad because I think the Bucs were a pretty interesting team when they got
until they got hurt. They can't keep up. Baker Mayfield has 7 interceptions in the last 3 games. He's thrown touchdown passes, but he's turning it over.
Yeah, but you heard it here first. That's Monday Night Football. We'll do it again next week after the Vikings come to town, gentlemen. Have a great week, Pete, Tony.
Do we lock
it?
You want to lock it?
No, there's not a chance in hell I'm locking that game.
It's Pete Prisco, Tony Boselli. I'm J.P. Shadrick. Our thanks to David Cho, Brent Reber, Joe Fortunato, our entire crew at Jaguars.com and Jaguars Media. This is Jaguars Happy Hour.